Hi guys, we're back. We're here to talk about Married at First Sight, season 16, episode number 6. For me, this wasn't like a real interesting episode, so hopefully this won't be a long video. So let's jump into it. As the scene opens, we see Juan and David. They're coming back from an excursion, and they seem to have had a really, really good time. And I'm glad that Juan took David out and let him experience, some of what was going on in Mexico since his wife didn't want to do anything with him. So then we have Ikechi and MM. They're talking with each other, and he's asking her about kids. She says she's open to having them. Thomas and Camille, they get together, and they want to go salsa dancing. So the instructor, I thought she was really patient. She's cute. And Thomas warns Camille that he is clumsy and he wants her to watch out for her toes. I thought they did a pretty good job. So that was cool. Michelle and David, they talk. They finally are asking each other questions and having the kind of conversation that they should have been having the whole time. And she seems to have relaxed a little bit and is allowing him to kind of get to know her. So then they go in the water on the little surfboard thing. And she's managed to stand up on hers and stay up, but David couldn't. So that was interesting. Juan is back from his time with David, and now he's spending time with his wife. I actually wasn't impressed with that little dance that they was doing. I mean, I thought that they would be out there dancing and really getting to know each other as much as Juan talked about it leading up to the marriage. I don't see it here. I don't see them dancing and really using that to connect with one another. So he tells her that he had so much fun with David that he forgot all about her. So she didn't take that too well, and he didn't pick up on it. Juan is kind of clueless. He runs his mouth, and he doesn't read the room. So this was the moment that he should have read the room. Alan and Camille are getting up for their day. They're talking. I didn't hear too much in that conversation to really remark upon, so I encourage you to go and look at that video. So Carla, she gets her revenge on Juan. Now this is crazy. So she said that she remembered to forget about him. That's how crazy that is. If you forget about a person, then you don't remember them, Carla. So that little exercise was just ridiculous. You just should have told him how you felt. If he offended you, let him know, because letting him know in a passive aggressive way is not the way to do it. And just to tie this in my experience, with passive aggressive behavior, this is something that I've gotten from people, myself, especially in the black community. And it's something when a person leaves you to figure out something on your own instead of just being upfront. I don't like it, and I can appreciate Juan not liking it, either. Yeah, just be an adult, Carla. Be upfront and communicate yourself. So and with me, that is an instant relationship killer. I don't respect people who don't respect me. So if we can't communicate with each other as adults, then that's a wrap. And that's just how I live my life right now, because I don't mess with people who choose to communicate with me like that. So Alan schedules this Mayan ritual with Madison, and the first part of it, she's preparing them for it, and then the next video she's going over what she has picked up from the first part, And she's telling Alan that he talks too much and he's too much in his head, and that it makes it hard for Madison to be fully open and communicate, back with him. So stop it, Alan. Get out of your head and do something with your mouth. You need to. You and Juan need filters on your mouths, because he keeps talking about, like, later when all the group are talking, he still is bringing up that he does his work in his underwear all day, and he doesn't understand that that's not that just robs her of any feelings of attraction that she can muster up for him. He doesn't get that. And then in that scene, he's talking about his phlegm and all of that. Child, Alan, no, no, Alan, no. And I know, he's not used to social settings, like that. So I feel sorry for him. I really honestly do. It was painful. It's painful to listen to. So in the next scene, Michelle and David are making sushi. David said he's not a sushi person. I get that. I wasn't always a sushi person either. It's an acquired taste. So people seem to think that she was making a dig at him when she said that it was cute that he was willing to come out of his comfort zone. Um, yeah. You need to come out of yours too, Michelle. So I don't think that we're going to see you be able to muster any of that kind of elasticity and flexibility within your personality. We'd all like to see that. So Carla has scheduled a photo shoot for her and Juan, and she's still mad at him. He hasn't apologized to her for what he said, and I think by now he's mad because he doesn't appreciate what she did with her passive aggressive stunt that she pulled, on him. So he's recognizing that she is not into the photo shoot, and then this is when he comes above himself and makes himself available to her to try and make her more comfortable so that they can have a successful photo shoot. And I think it worked. She kind of got out of her mood and was able to finish, doing everything because she didn't want to go underwater, and I can't blame her. I remember when I went to Jamaica, I was snorkeling, and they couldn't get me. They couldn't get me to put my face in the water. Oh my goodness. He was like, be a good girl. Be a good girl and put your face. And I was like, okay. I tried it, and I found it was hard for me to breathe through that tube, child. But I did it. So I understand Carla, and I was proud of her that because I thought she was going to give up. So she managed to hang in there. So Ikechi and MM, child, they go to church. They go to church. I actually appreciated that little conversation that they had. So a lot of some of the other reviewers that I watched, they seem to think that he's recycling his conversations. So he's asking her questions, and his answer, he already has it in his back pocket, because I guess he probably has had these conversations many times before. So his position is solid, but he can use it as a conversation piece. I actually don't think that that's a bad thing. I think that that's what conversations allow us to do, is to solidify our positions on things. And then as we meet other people, we do recycle our conversations. So I'm not mad at Akechi, for that. So then other people are remarking that they don't see the sparks, between them. I just actually really appreciated the conversation. It was just a nice dinner conversation. I did notice that he didn't thank the servers when they brought him his stuff. She was, really thankful. He says that he's thankful about stuff, but I do question that, myself. So Thomas is reflecting. He's telling us that Camille has told him, basically, that she can tell that he hasn't hung around a lot of black people. And he says that that's not the first time he's heard that. It hit him a little differently this time because this is somebody that he wants to impress. He actually likes Camille and he wants to get closer to her. And if she's saying that he's not black enough, then that could be a barrier to him being able to have that goal of being close in a relationship, with her. And I put in the parentheses that black people need to cut that mess out. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's going around. Um, People call him Tariq, but when you listen to his intro, he says Tariq. So his name is Tariq, not Tariq Nasheed. And he calls Africans and people from the other parts of the diaspora, like the Caribbean, he calls them tethers that want to come over here and suck up all the black culture, but then go and become successful and don't give anything back to the culture. So he calls them tethers. And I do understand part of his conversation. The part that I don't like is when we separate from each other. We've got this thing called FBA and ADOS, which FPA is Foundation of Black Americans, and ADOS is African Descendants of Slaves. And we're trying to get reparations. So they don't want people who are not of the lineage to come in and appropriate. So I do understand that part, of it as well. But the way that we treat each other, to me, is based on how colonialism has affected us. I mean, we're to the point that, and I've had this, in my life as well. I'm light skinned. I'm kind of, when the sun comes out, I immediately turn a shade of brown. I don't even have to be out in the sun. It just needs to come out, and my skin automatically turns a shade of brown. But in the wintertime, I'm more light. And I have cousins that are even lighter than me, and they live in Alabama, and they still lighter than me. So and I've talked about this, before, colorism. I'm full black. The lightness of my skin is a gene, and I get it from white people, and I get it from black people. So it's like I don't belong to any. I don't feel an affinity with black people anymore. I'm tired. I'm tired of having projections. I've had people look at me and give me the up and down, like, who is this bitch? I haven't even said anything. They don't know. They don't even know my name, and they already have ascribed some kind of a projection onto me as if it's true, and I'm sick of it. It's really affected my ability to communicate with black people now. I used to, when I be out, doing things, and I see, hey, how you doing? Okay, blah, 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 blah. Now, child, I don't say nothing. If people don't come up talk to me, if black people don't come up talk to me when I'm out, I don't talk. I really try and limit the conversation that I have because the rejection, I'm sick of it. So I really hope, and Camille, when Rudy asked her about it on the after party, she said that she didn't mean for him. She felt bad that he took it that way because she didn't want him to have that negative self-image, of himself. So realize that and black people have a problem too. Y'all run y'all's mouth. You get offended by a lot of things that people say to you, but you don't think about the things that come out of your mouth to other people. I am constantly offended by stuff that comes out of black people's mouths. Y'all need a filter. It's offensive. So if you don't like it when somebody says something slick to you, you need to do something with the slickness of your mouth as well. And I've started calling that out. So if you don't want an uncomfortable situation, you need to put a filter on your mouth. So Ikeche, they're coming back from their day, and he's all ready to go to bed. And so MM is trying to take an opportunity to have a moment. And he's like, okay, so before we go to bed, you need to get that light. And it was like, what? Some people said they thought that that was a staged event. I don't know. I just thought it was a missed opportunity. That's what I looked at it as. So Juan is talking to Carla, and he's schooling her about how jacked up it is to be passive aggressive. And he was right, you know. He did say, especially on the after show, the after party, she asked him if he had the opportunity to do it over again, what would he do? And he did say that now that he got an opportunity to go back and look at it and think about it, that it was something inappropriate. He could have done a better job languaging himself, and he wouldn't have said it that way. So that's good. I'm glad you learned something, Juan. Good man. Where else are we? So Carl and Juan are talking. So Thomas is talking to Camille, and he's telling her that the the roadblocks and the barriers that he's come up against has kind of tested him out and made him, stronger. He said his dad was an influence on him to help shape the way that he was able to overcome these kind of obstacles about race and culture. And he said that he's gonna, because his dad was such a force in his life, that he wants to step up and take that mantle and do that, for his family, as well. And Camille, she said she was down, for that. So this is when the couples are talking. Everybody's just kind of reflecting their time in Mexico, what they think in anticipation of going back to Chicago. So I was telling y'all about how Alan was running his mouth, and who was it? David and what's her face? She was talking about giving herself grace and all this old craziness. And yeah, you need to give David some grace. Talking about she need to give herself some grace. Girl, you better go on. You better go sit down and go have several seats with your mouth shut. Oh my goodness. Um, who else said something remarkable? Who else said something? I'm trying to think. Juan and Carla, they were talking, and I think that Juan, he was saying that he's not going to be as much fun when he gets back. He's like what did he say? It wasn't a drill sergeant. It was something with regimen that he was saying that he's going to be when he gets back. So we haven't seen the real Juan. There's another side of Juan left that we still need to flesh out, and I don't know how that's gonna work out with him and Carla, because I was saying earlier in my to somebody in the comments that I don't know, because Carla seemed like she brought her Carla self to this experience, and Juan seems to have brought Vacation Juan. So Vacation Juan and the real life Juan, I want to see how they and Carla are gonna get along, with each other. And I don't know. That's kind of curious, to me. I want to give a shout out to K Savage. I appreciate you for your communication in my chat. I really appreciate that support, because this is going to be my last season doing Married at First Sight, and I'll talk more about it. But she's really been an anchor of support since I've been doing this, since she's come along, for this ride with me. And I just want to give her that acknowledgement, right now. Where are we? Where are we? I can't figure out where I am now. Okay, so we are still with couples. while they're getting ready to say goodbye to Mexico. And so I have the couples, I have more reflection, and then I have find the common ground. So yeah, y'all go back and check that out. So what did I say? Oh, so Thomas, he has this little surprise that he's trying to figure out how to plan for Camille. He wants to use the time that he has left in Mexico to do some bonding. I thought it was cute. She thought it was cute, but it wasn't enough to get her in that lingerie. I'm sorry about that, Thomas, but you do get you get a little gold star for your effort. So that's good. I mean, if David was able to get away with something like that, I think that he would appreciate, a hug or a thank you from Michelle. So that's good. Good attaboy. And people were talking about her with the lingerie. I don't see any problems with it. She did communicate to him that this is not lingerie time. So it wasn't like she was teasing him. Some people said that they thought that she was using the lingerie to tease him. I don't see it that way. And I thought that she was appropriate in her conversation with him and met, if he had expectations that were higher, she communicated, no, this is where our expectations should be right now. So I like that part. Um, Michelle, oh, everybody's doing their little, the selfie cams, and they're back in their rooms getting ready to pack. And Michelle and David are talking. She's telling him that she's not comfortable sleeping in a bed with him because he was communicating to her his work schedule. He was saying that he was going to try to not disturb her and stuff. She said she doesn't think that they're in a place to share a bed. And he's still Mr. Okay, whatever you want, honey. I was like, boy, oh, whew, whew, this is hard. This is really hard. I'd be glad when she go down there in that basement so that he can finally get over the fact that she just doesn't want to be with him. I think that this is where, when they get back and they have to do those home visits, that his attitude is going to start to change, which it should already been at this point by now. But I'm gonna give him a gold star, for his effort. So Alan, he got news that one of his friends had passed away, and that's kind of unsettling. It just really tells you the mortality of and how fragile we are. We think ourselves invincible and strong, but we're really quite fragile, and our time here is short. So I'm glad that they got a chance to spend some time together before, and hopefully they had some meaningful communication, with each other. And he said that Madison gave him really good support. He had kind of shut down and pulled away a little bit, and his lost in his own thoughts and stuff. And she was cool. And I thought they had a nice little conversation. Um, and so everybody's packed up. We're getting ready to say adios, Mexico. And they have their little drinks. I would have got me one of those pina coladas to go. I saw him serving them jokers up in that cup. I'm telling you, I'd have been like, hey, you got a top and a straw? And I would have took one to go, child. That is me. That is totally, totally me. I would have done that. So Madison, she gave her little toast. That's about the most appropriate toast I heard out of Madison. So that was an adult, not a college sorority or frat kind of thing. So good job, Madison. So wheels are down, wheels are up, and now they're back down in Chicago. So we get them doing their couples cams at the airport. And I don't like Michelle's laugh. I don't like it. People talked about Kamala Harris's laugh, child. I don't like Michelle's laugh, child. Ugh. And he talked about her laugh is cute. Okay. So now they're back at their apartments, and everybody's, looking at their digs. I thought they were cute. The apartments look about the same. Camille likes her skyline. She likes the view of Chicago. Um, and this Alan and Madison, they take an opportunity to sit down and chat. And this is when Madison is telling him her expectations. She would like, and what would help her connect with him better. A lot of people were saying that she was, oh, I'm not going to try to change him, but I really want you to change the way you dress and this, that, and the third. I think that she's apprehensive because, like I told y'all, he has mentioned this multiple times that he walks around the house in his underwear. That's not sexy to her. So that's something that he's going to have to adjust if they're going to be successful in getting to know each other so that they can get to another stage. And if that's something that he really wants, then that's something that he should be willing to adjust to. When she's not home and she's at work all day, then Alan, you can walk around the house in your drawers all day. So that's an adjustment. When she's home, you're going to have to do something with that. He doesn't see what she sees. And I don't think that home visit to his closet is going to be successful. I'm looking at that. And then the last one is the upcoming, what's going to be upcoming for the rest of the season. And we see Michelle, she's looking, and she says, they have her saying something that she says, that David's apartment downstairs is about what she thought that it was, somebody in their 20s. So my thing is, even if he was living in his own apartment, that's probably what she would have seen. So people, when they live alone, they actually live a different way than they live when they're with someone. So I don't know, Michelle. I mean, I'm sure her house looks like it was something out of Architectural Digest, but her personality is something out of the sewer. So she's saying that his apartment looks like something out of the sewer, but his personality is something that could be featured in a magazine or, looked at and examined by other people of how to act when you're in a difficult situation. So his attitude is stellar, even if you don't like his apartment. So you see how it could be mismatched. One is up, one is down. So we're putting too much on things. We're putting too much emphasis on things that are not as important. She needs to see what he's like living with her. That's going to be the most important information. His living style by himself is information, but it's not the most important. I think that's all that I wanted to talk about with Married at First Sight. I was going to talk about Megan Good, but I think I might make that a story time and a separate video. Or I might even do it on the next episode. We'll see. But yeah, child, Megan Good done got engaged. Lord have mercy. Oh, this girl. Oh. Anyway, I think that's all that I had to say. Anything that I missed? I'm trying to remember. I was talking about David and how he might have messed up his opportunity asking for blonde hair and blue eyes. And I remembered after I finished that video that when Madison was talking to Dr. Pepper, she actually asked for a Caucasian. So these are things, again, that we put in our minds. We put stuff there that actually may not be serving us. Because if she's does end up, being attracted to somebody outside of being a Caucasian, see, you just learned something about yourself, Madison. And hopefully, as they all finish this experiment, that they will come out more with a better sense of who they are as human beings, and it makes them better people, even if they're not, together. So that's going to do it for me, guys. And I will see you on the next video. Take care.